A gang of violent teens terrorized New York.
The crime inflamed the city and the nation.
They beat her with their fists, we believe a rock and a metal pipe. She was raped by four of these youths.
Arrested within hours of the attack, 5 teens, 4 black, 1 Latino, all charged with the brutal rape of a 28-year-old jogger in New York's Central Park.
It was the scariest time in my life.
Yusuf Salaam was one of the so-called Central Park 5, just 15 years old, paraded in front of cameras.
Had this been the 1950s, I would have had the same fate as Emmett Till.
You've been hung.
I would have been hung.
2 weeks after their high-profile arrest, Donald Trump took out full-page ads in 4 major newspapers calling for the death penalty to be reinstated. Trump wrote, "Criminals must be told that their civil liberties end when an attack on our safety begins."
He was literally like the fire starter. He lit the match.
Salaam served his full sentence, nearly 7 years in prison, as did all the Central Park 5. But none of them were guilty.
Men cleared after spending years in prison for a crime they did not commit.
In 2002, serial rapist Matias Reyes came forward claiming he was solely responsible. His DNA and description of the crime matched, with no DNA evidence linking the Central Park 5 to the crime. Their sentences were reversed.
When we heard that the verdicts were being vacated, it was like the best feeling in the world. And that feeling quickly came and went.
Donald Trump! Donald Trump! You can't hide! You can't hide!
The Central Park 5, their families and supporters wanted an apology from Donald Trump. The billionaire refused, telling the New York Times they confess. Now they say they didn't do it. Who am I supposed to believe? Those confessions, parents and lawyers said, were coerced.
They ain't giving no food. They ain't giving no sleep for 43 hours. That's how they did it.
The 5 sued New York City and settled for $41 million in 2014. Trump incensed, calling the settlement a disgrace in an opinion column, saying settling doesn't mean innocence, but it indicates incompetence on several levels. It is politics at its lowest and worst form.
I spoke to Donald shortly after the city made its settlement with these men, and he was outraged.
Michael D'Antonio's The Truth About Trump follows the billionaire's rise to the top of the GOP ticket.
He's not a person who takes in new information and then adjusts and accepts reality. The only reality that matters to him is his judgment, which was rendered many years prior.
No matter how total the vindication for the Central Park 5, there is still one thing they'd like to see.
I keep saying to myself, one day, Donald Trump is going to perhaps take a full-page ad out and apologize to the Central Park 5. You know, that would be tremendous. That might make the, it's funny.
Do you really think that's going to happen?
I doubt it's going to happen.
In a statement to CNN, Trump not only didn't apologize, but said they admitted they were guilty. The police doing the original investigation say they were guilty. The fact that the case was settled with so much evidence against them is outrageous. Yusuf Salaam denies any wrongdoing that night. And as for the actual rapist, Matias Reyes, he is currently serving 33 years to life for a series of rapes, but interestingly, not for this one. By the time he admitted to the crime, the statute of limitations had already run out.